Good morning. My name is Paige Dennison. I'm Director of Health and Wellness at Sound Generations in Seattle and serve on the King County Fall Prevention Coalition. Today's presentation, Creating Your Falls Free Plan, is adapted from the National Council on Aging's 6 Steps to Prevent a Fall. Thanks goes to the Washington State Department of Health, Sound Generations, and King County Fall Prevention Coalition for coming together and supporting creation of this presentation today. A falls risk survey will be administered towards the end of this presentation. It's for your information only. Also, questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. Let's go ahead and get started. Dinah shared some falls facts seen on this slide, and they just really highlight what a major health issue falls are for older adults. Do you know someone who has fallen? I'd love for you to keep them in mind today as we go through some steps you can take to lessen your fall risk. Falls can lead to a loss of independence and a decrease in quality of life. So we're going to jump on over to the next slide now and look at some stats here in Washington State on falls. Among the 10 leading types of injury-related deaths in Washington State for those over 65 years of age, 54% are due to unintentional falls. All of the other injury-related deaths are only a fraction compared to falls risk. On this slide, we see that 60% of fall-related deaths for those over age 65 occur at home. 26% are in a residential institution, like assisted living facility, and the rest of the locations are under 7%. So we can take action in our own environments and homes with small adjustments that make big differences for reducing the risk of falls. Remember, many falls are preventable. I know there's small print on this slide and it's kind of hard to read, but I want you to look at that big bar across the top that says 76%. 76% of falls were reported as a slip, a trip, or a stumble on ground level. The majority of falls are not from falling off ladders or down steps, as we might assume. So what is a fall? Well, the World Health Organization defines a fall as an event which results in a person coming to rest inadvertently on the ground or floor or other lower level. This can include slips, trips, and stumbles like we saw on the last slide, stepping down in a hole or on an uneven surface that slopes or dips down. Elevated falls are falls that occur from ladders or steps or out of vehicles or downstairs. When asked, are you afraid of falling? Many people say, no, I'm not afraid, I'm just more careful. Well, a fear of falling is defined as a lasting concern about falling that may cause a person to stop doing activities they still remain able to do. So why does a fear of falling matter to us? Well, it can stop a person from doing some of their favorite activities that are important to their mental and physical health. Our legs weaken with inactivity. When we sit, we lose the muscles that we need to use to stand and walk and move. Inactivity leads to falls due to the change in muscle strength, balance, and coordination. And it may make a person feel lonely or isolated if they cut out the activities that they are socially active in, and which, this change can result in depression or anxiety, which also increases risk for falls. There are 3 risk factor types for falls, and we talk about them individually, but in reality, most falls experienced by older adults result from an interaction of several of these factors. So the first one would be physical risk factors, changes in your body that increase the risk for a fall. For instance, if you're inactive and you sit and your legs become weak, changes in eyesight, changes in hearing, arthritis, painful joints, all of these can lead to a decline in physical activity. Behavioral risk factors are things we do or don't do that increase our fall risk. For example, taking greater risks like climbing a ladder to remove leaves from your gutter, even though you think it may not be a good idea. Environmental risk factors are hazards in our home or our community. Porch steps without a railing, a tub or a shower without grab bars. These are good examples. So we're going to talk about 6 steps you can take to prevent a fall and create your own falls-free plan. They're listed right here. The first is to find a good balance and exercise program. Number 2, talk to your healthcare provider about your falls. 3, review your medications. 4, annual hearing and vision checkups. 5, keep your home safe to prevent falls. And 6, talk to your support network. So let's dig deeper. Find a good balance and exercise program. We recommend evidence-based balance and exercise programs that have been through rigorous research and they've been proven to reduce the risk of falls. On this slide, we see the physical activity guidelines for activities for older adults and how much you should be doing and which type. But really, the goal is to move more and sit less. If chronic conditions affect your ability to meet the recommendations on this slide, that's okay. Just be as physically active as your abilities and conditions allow you to be. As an older adult, regular physical activity is one of the most important things you can do for your health. It can prevent or delay many of the health problems that seem to come along with age. There's additional benefits too, such as boosting our mood and making us feel happier, sharpening your cognition, your focus, stress reduction, and better quality of sleep. Remember, some physical activity is better than none at all. Health benefits increase the more physically active you're able to stay. On this slide, we see the most available evidence-based fall prevention programs in King County. I'll go through them pretty quickly and we'll share information after the presentation on how to locate these classes. A Matter of Balance, Managing Concerns About Falls is a workshop class often available here at Southeast Senior Center, and it focuses on reducing the fear of falling and introducing physical activity. Tai Chi Chuan, Moving for Better Balance, improves balance through gentle movement. This program is also available in a shortened form at YMCA's as MBB, or just Moving for Better Balance. Enhanced Fitness is a group exercise and fall prevention program with cardiovascular, strength, and balance components. And the Otago exercise program is a series of 17 strength and balance exercises, really well suited for frail participants and supported by a physical therapist. And SAIL, Stay Active and Independent for Life, is a fall prevention program that combines components of the Enhanced Fitness program. It's a derivative program of Enhanced Fitness with fall prevention education. So these programs are often can be found actually throughout our state, but they're definitely the ones that are most available here in King County. What if you don't have any of these specific classes near you? You want to stay active. Check with your local senior center. I know a variety of classes are offered here at Southeast, YMCA's, fitness facilities, parks and recreation. Silver Sneakers and Silver and Fit are 2 insurance benefit programs that are widely available. Water aerobics, if you have a pool in your town, is a great opportunity, or community walking groups. So number 2 on our list, talking to your healthcare provider about falls. Some common medical conditions that increase the risk for falls are listed on these slides. And, just be aware of these conditions and talk to your healthcare provider about them. Dizziness, vision and hearing disorders, leg and feet problems like neuropathy, heart and blood vessel problems, bladder and prostate issues, confusion, cognitive impairment, dementia, and chronic pain all can affect or increase your risk for falls. So how do you talk to your healthcare provider about falls? Well, you can request a balance or a fall risk assessment in the office. Tell your doctor if you've fallen, if you feel unsteady on your feet, or if you're just really worried about falling. Ask about mobility aids, walkers, or other simple tools that improve stability if needed. After an injury or surgery, these aids can help you increase your activity levels again. And ask for a referral to a physical therapist or an occupational therapist. It may be right for you. This is a great way to get support for improving your posture and your mobility and your gait. Maintaining general good health will help reduce falls. Don't miss those regular checkups and preventative appointments. Number 3 on our list is review your medications. Be aware of side effects from common medications. When we're talking about side effects, things like dizziness, fatigue, muscle weakness, loss of balance, changes in vision, keeping an up-to-date listing of your medications from all your providers, your specialists, including over-the-counter medications and supplements, and those just taken occasionally, is a really good thing to have on hand. Number 4, get hearing and vision checkups annually. Many common ailments such as colds and inner ear infections and ringing in the ears can affect our balance. Changes in vision can also increase your risk for falling, and bifocal lenses, reading glasses can distort objects and change your depth perception. So really important to have those annual reviews. Step 5, keep your home safe to prevent falls. Let's go through it room by room. Stairs and steps. Always keep objects off the stairs. Fix loose or uneven steps and get help with installing overhead lighting, light switches at the top and bottom of stairs. Use night lights that illuminate automatically during darker hours. Have a friend or family member change a light bulb. Make sure the carpet is firmly attached to every step, or just remove the carpet and use non-slip strips on the stairs. Make sure to fix loose handrails or install new ones. And if you can have handrails on both sides of the steps, that's great. When thinking about floors, ask for help to move furniture so walkways are clear. Remove throw rugs or use double-sided tape or a non-slip backing so rugs don't slip. Pick up tripping hazards and objects from floors and coil or tape cords and wires to prevent trips and stumbles. In the kitchen, keep regularly used items on the lower shelves, waist high. And if you must use a step stool, make sure it has a bar to hold on to. Don't use a chair as a step stool. In the bedroom, place lamps close to the bed so they're easy to reach. Use night lights so you can see where you're walking at night. Some night lights are automatic and turn on when it gets dark. Stand up slowly from the bed at night when bathroom trips are necessary. And in the bathroom, put a non-slip mat or self-sticking strips on the floor of the tub or shower. Have grab bars installed next to the toilets and tubs. Let's take a fall risk assessment survey just for your own knowledge. You can use a notepad or keep track in your head of your own private score. And every question is going to give a number score of either a 2, a 1, or a 0. At the end of the 12 questions, you can total up your score. So let's go ahead and begin. I have fallen in the past year. If you answer yes, give yourself 2 points. People who have fallen once are likely to fall again. I use or have been advised to use a cane or walker to get around safely. If the answer is yes, give yourself 2 points. People who have been advised to use a cane or walker may already be more likely to fall. Number 3, sometimes I feel unsteady when I'm walking. If you answer yes, give yourself 1 point. Unsteadiness or needing support while walking are signs of poor balance. Number 4, I steady myself by holding on to furniture when walking at home. Give yourself 1 point for a yes. This is a sign of poor balance. Number 5, I'm worried about falling. Give yourself 1 point for a yes. People who are worried about falling are more likely to fall. Number 6, I need to push with my hands to stand up from a chair. Give yourself 1 point for a yes. This is a sign of weak leg muscles, which is a major reason for falling. Number 7, I have some trouble stepping up onto a curb. Give yourself 1 point for a yes. This is also a sign of weak leg muscles. Number 8, I often have to rush to the toilet. Give yourself 1 point for a yes. Rushing to the bathroom, especially at night, increases your chance of falling. Number 9, I have lost some feeling in my feet. Give yourself 1 point for a yes. Numbness in your feet can cause stumbles and lead to falls. Number 10, we're almost there, gang. I take medicine that sometimes makes me feel lightheaded or more tired than usual. Give yourself 1 point for a yes. Side effects from medicines can sometimes increase your chance of falling. Number 11, I take medicine to help me sleep or improve my mood. Give yourself 1 point for a yes. These medicines can sometimes increase your risk of falling. And number 12, I often feel sad or depressed. Give yourself 1 point for a yes. Symptoms of depression, such as not feeling well or feeling slowed down, are linked to falls. Total up your score. If you scored 4 points or more, you may be at risk for falling. And you should discuss your survey results with your healthcare provider. We'll share the online link to this survey after today's meeting. So let's say you got a 4 or higher score. Let's talk about talking to your support network. Recognizing that you may be at risk for a fall is the first step towards making improvements and getting the help you need to maintain independence. So if you're concerned about falling or you've recently fallen, it's important to connect with your support system. Be self-aware of any risk factors that you may have and start with small, achievable goals and find activities that are appropriate and a good fit for your ability level and physical capabilities. Sign up for an appropriate class. Make appointments for a healthcare checkup as needed. Review a home safety checklist. We'll share some after today's meeting. Talk to friends or family because falls are preventable. What if you do fall? How do you know if you should call 911? Whoops, kind of jumped ahead there a little bit. Do you have minor or serious injuries? Do you need help getting up off the floor? Are you in pain? Are you bleeding? Did you hit your head? Calling 911 early is some of the best assistance you can provide to yourself or to a loved one. Just get help arriving early, and when in doubt, call them out. That's an easy thing to remember. So here are those 6 steps one last time. Find a good balance exercise program. Talk to your healthcare provider about falls, review medications, get annual hearing and vision checkups, go through a home safety checklist and take steps to prevent falls at home, and talk to your support network. Thank you so much for taking the time and interest in fall prevention today.
So with that, I'm going to hand it over to a colleague of Paige's. So if you have questions about something Paige said, I think Deirdre is a good person to be able to help answer those. So Deirdre works for Sound Generations. She has been there since 2009, and she also supports national evidence-based programs that serve older adults and people with disabilities. Amongst her many roles, she provides training, supervision, fidelity monitoring, and service coordination for local and national programs. And she's got a lot of experience, everything from working with folks at her local senior center to training leaders across the country and serving on community academic partner teams for 2 research trials focused on behavior change. So with that, I think I'll hand it over to Deirdre to introduce our other 2 panelists and take the conversation away from there.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. So I will introduce our 2 panelists. First, we have Kelsey. Kelsey is an occupational therapist working with the Asian and Pacific Islander communities through International Community Health Services. She currently works in a clinic capacity within 3 programs at ICHS. Programs of all-inclusive care for the elderly, adult day services, and the Tai Chi Kwan, Moving for Better Balance program, as a program instructor who can provide clinical insight to other instructors and program supervisors. Kelsey received her Master's of Science in Occupational Therapy in 2020. She has an interest in neurological disorders and resulting deficits, as well as exploring new avenues of occupational therapists to improve health outcomes for various patient populations. She has presented a research poster at the American Occupational Therapy Association National Conference in 2020 concerning the role of occupational therapy in primary care settings. She presented a session at the Mountain West Occupational Therapy Virtual Conference in 2021. She very much enjoys working with older adults and hopes to continue helping occupational therapists to expand their presence in various healthcare settings, serving populations across the lifespan. Welcome, Kelsey. And next we have Mary Pat. Mary Pat is a RN. She is a senior planner with Aging and Disability Services, ADS, the area agency on aging within the City of Seattle Human Services Department. She has over 42 years of nursing experience and has worked in a variety of nursing settings. She works to promote healthy aging and healthy living within ADS and in collaboration with healthcare partners, including state and county partners. She co-authored an article on community collaborative titled Prevention Research Center Health Department Collaborations, Case Studies of Collaborative Program Dissemination, that was submitted for publication to Preventing Chronic Disease. She also writes articles for AgeWise, ADS electronic newsletter. Welcome, Mary Pat. I just want to thank you all for being here today. And I want to open it up first to the people in the audience. If you have any questions about the presentation, questions for Kelsey or Mary Pat, we would be happy to take those now. Yes.
Yeah, I have a question. I fell, and I don't know if I hit my head or not, but it really hurt. And I was laying on the floor holding my head together. And I was wondering, I started to call an ambulance, but I was too afraid of how much it would cost. And I was just wondering, what would I do? Who would I call? Other than them, what would be the cost these days? Because I think the last time I got him, when it was like $680 when they took me away. So, yeah, I felt it in my head. Who would I call? Do you have any listings or someone?
Thank you for that question. I'm just going to repeat the question just to make sure everyone has heard it. He said that he has fallen and he hit his head,
I don't
and
know if I hit my head or not.
okay, he's not sure if he hit his head or not, but you are wondering who to call when this happens, and also how much the cost would be potentially for calling an ambulance. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Kelsey, Mary Pat, who wants to take this one?
Thank you for the question. I would always call 911. Always call 911 when you're in doubt. You can always refuse to go to the hospital. You don't have to go by ambulance. You can let the 911 know you want to be checked out. Those paramedicine folks and the emergency medical technicians, EMTs, they can check you over. They can check your head, they can check your hand grips, your eyes. They will check to see if you're tracking. They'll ask you some questions. Always call 911 when in doubt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Are you gonna tell us more about some of the exercise programs, like the Tai Chi? We learn more about that?
So the question was, she wants to know more about exercise programs.
Hi, I'm Kelsey, the occupational therapist. I can speak specifically to the Tai Chi Chuan Moving for Better Balance program. That's part of my job at International Community Health Services. That is a program that through our company is currently available to anybody in King County who you just have to meet the criteria of being, I believe it's 55 or older. And we offer virtual and in-person classes. And I know for ours right now, you'd have to reach out to our point person for that program about our enrollment and where we're at with offering our next class. That's the one I can speak to in depth as somebody who's trained as an instructor. And for the other programs, were there any in particular you were curious about?
Oh, I was just, there's some listed and I was wondering, like, if you could talk about what you do in class.
Okay. So in our program, we spend a lot of time learning 8 simple Tai Chi Chuan forms. And so we use that kind of ancient art of Tai Chi to introduce balance exercises. So that particular practice of Tai Chi is all about slow and controlled movement. And within Chinese culture or other Asian cultures, it is also a practice of, balancing energy and mindset and focus. And we introduce this as based on those things, but we're also using it as a balance program. So I know some of our patients have been disappointed that it's not traditional Tai Chi, but you spend a lot of time learning those forms and spending time, you're strengthening your knees, your ankles, your hips, you're learning ways to move your body, and it's kind of strengthening exercises, but presented in a way that doesn't feel like strictly exercise. And then we use other exercises to support that learning. And we kind of try to connect that to everyday movements you might be doing, to kind of maybe see if there are new ways to move your body that you feel more confident, if you need to reach, or if you need to step out to the side, or catch yourself if you stumble backwards. So in that sense, that's what you would be doing in that particular program. Does that answer?
Yeah, thank you.
I think the real important thing about Tai Chi, as Kelsey had said, is its gentle movement. purposeful movement and you think you're not getting any benefit. We are so conditioned that we have to sweat and lift, push those 200 pounds in order to get benefit. The very interesting but beautiful thing about many of these evidence-based programs, including Tai Chi, is that slow, purposeful movement and stretching is powerful for the body. It really is, because the body and the mind are very interconnected. And so sometimes when we do a lot of strength training, we're using the muscles, but we're just pushing against, oh my goodness, this is heavy. But that purposeful stretching, it really does help the body and the mind. Thank you.
And I can speak to Enhanced Fitness and a Matter of Balance. Enhanced Fitness is an evidence-based program, as Paige mentioned on the presentation earlier, and it incorporates aerobic activity, balance, as well as strength. And you can find Enhanced Fitness at your local senior centers, the YMCA. We really have quite a few classes within King County. And if you have more questions about that, I can answer after this. And I'll also speak to a Matter of Balance. I'm a master trainer for a Matter of Balance workshop, and it's also an evidence-based program. And a Matter of Balance really has two components. It's an education component as well as a introduction to physical activity. So maybe you haven't been as active as you would like. Maybe you're coming back from an injury. That's a great point to start, is a Matter of Balance. The education part of a Matter of Balance really speaks to the fear of falling, and how even if you haven't fallen yourself, you may have seen a neighbor fall or a family member fall, and maybe they broke their hip and they were down for 6 months or had to have surgery, right? We have found out that will affect you just being a bystander. So we really talk about the fear of falling and how to overcome that fear and being able to do the activities that you would like to do. It might look different, it might feel different, you might need assistance, but being able to do those activities that you enjoy doing on a regular basis while remaining safe, while being aware. And then the physical activity portion, there is a set of exercises or movements that are very low impact and that we do within the workshop. And hopefully we'll be able to hold another workshop here in the next few months. So stay tuned for that. Yes.
I'd like to mention what I do to keep from falling in the house, and it works really well. I have one of those little carts, that you push around, that is very mobile, and I use that inside mostly. If I go for a walk or something, I use it, but basically in the house, it has really been helpful.
Thank you for sharing. And the audience member wanted to share what she does for staying safe in her house. And you said that you use a cart,
Well,
like a.
it's one of those little, I don't know what you call them. Like a walker? It's a walker, I guess.
A walker, okay.
It has a seat, it folds up, and that whole thing.
Thank you for sharing. She has a walker with a seat that folds up that she uses to stay safe in and around her home.
It really helps.
And you look familiar. Haven't you been a part of the Matter of Balance program workshop before?
Yeah.
Yes. Jamie?
Question. Could you all talk about the pros and cons of the alert systems and the emergency response systems?
The question is, like the panelists to share about the pros and cons of the emergency alert systems, the buttons that you can wear. Sometimes it can be like a little phone or something on your wrist.
Okay. So as an occupational therapist, I am a big supporter of emergency pendants, especially for people living in the community. If you're not in a place like an assisted living facility, you may not have help as readily available to you or people that are able to check up on you on a regular basis. So I would say the pro is that they are usually designed to be in your home and be able to hear you once they call you back, to be able to hear your response and check in with you and see how they can come and help you. if you've fallen at home. The other thing that we've found for some of our patients who have them is they make some now that can travel outside the home. So if you're in the community, there is a way for these pendants to have a GPS feature where you're still able to press it and they can help you if you're not in your house. One con I can speak to, our patients, most of them speak Mandarin, Cantonese, Cambodian, Vietnamese. Sometimes it can be difficult to find a way to set that up where there's an interpreter available right in the moment to help you. We have tried to have some information readily available to the company who services our pendants to know, the address, the name of the person, any pertinent information that may not be able to be conveyed in the moment on that call system. That's one con I can say we've run into with our population.
That's a very good question, thank you. I also strongly encourage the use of the personal emergency response system. On the con side is that many people rely on the pendant to solve their falling problem. All that pendant does is alert someone if you're fallen. So you might use that pendant every day or every week repetitively if you're at fall risk. What needs to happen, as Deidre has said and Kelsey have said, and as a nurse I would say, is you really need a fall assessment. Why are you falling? What can be done to help you get stronger or safer so that you can use the button, but what else needs to happen in your life, in your environment to help you be safe? Thank you.
We have a question from the audience.
Okay.
What are these devices covered by Medicare patients? Would these buttons be covered?
The question was, are the devices covered by insurance?
I believe most insurances, if you can show a medical need for these things, most insurances are starting to see the benefit of preventative measures. So I can't speak to individual plans, but I would think now that we're finally starting to see the value in prevention and how much money that can save in healthcare, you can talk to your provider about whether that's something that could be covered. I don't know specifically. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it can be a part of Part C, is what Mary Pat said. Yeah.
Are you calling me?
Yes.
Oh, I came in late, but due to experience, I would just want to share something. You can comment on it. And maybe it's already been said, but you need to learn how to breathe. Breathe. A lot of people don't know how to breathe. I had to learn how to breathe and to listen to your body. Pay attention to your body. If you don't feel like it, you can't do it, you don't listen to your body. I know from experience, you need to listen to your body and you need to learn how to breathe. A lot of us think that we know how to breathe, but we don't. I'm speaking from experience. You know, if you huff it and puff it, something is wrong. And I know that learning how to breathe helps your total being, your circulation. You know, that numbness and stuff that they're talking about, neurology and stuff like that. You know, you gotta listen to that. You can take care of some of that in a minor way for yourself. I'm just speaking from experience, what I've gone through and what I go through. Like the body parts get sleepy. Why are they getting sleepy? Is it because you don't know how to breathe? No circulation? You know, that can prevent falls. I know that. You know, so I'm just speaking not from a medical point of view, but from experience. I don't know what happened to me, happened to somebody else. So I'm just sharing. We need to learn how to breathe and listen to our body talks to us. Our body is talking to us. You know, that's why I scream and holler. That's why I'm loud. I want people to hear me if I'm in pain. I let people know that I'm in pain, especially family members who wanna hold it in and keep it quiet. But that can help our balance, as they're talking about, you know, learning how to breathe and stand up and open your mouth, you know, that can help your balance. I know from experience, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And just to reiterate what the audience member said is listen to your body and learn how to breathe. So thank you for that information. And I'll just add to it, being aware of your body and how it feels, as well as your surroundings, and taking note of that. As Mary Pat mentioned, if you fall and you continue to fall, why? Right? So take note of, is it after you've taken medication, maybe in the morning when you haven't eaten yet? Just really taking note of how your body feels and what's happening at that time can be very helpful. Oh, yes.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's one thing that kind of makes me realize we talk a lot about your strength and your balance, but activity tolerance can also play a huge part in fall prevention and fall risk, because if you tire out easily, and maybe as she pointed out, you're not really aware of it until it's too late and you're already starting to feel dizzy or you're huffing and puffing, you know, that can make a big difference in how you handle that moment. And I guess as a little tidbit of how to breathe, we work on, with my patients, it's called pursed lip breathing. And it can be a way if your blood pressure changes or if you're starting to feel yourself breathing and wheezing a little bit, it's just being able to stop, and you want to take those deep breaths in through your nose. And when you let that air out, you're creating a small little opening. And doing that in and out a few times can really kind of keep your blood pressure in a more stable place, and it can help you stay on top of not getting so out of breath that you might start to feel unsteady on your feet. So thank you for bringing that up. That is a big thing.
And we have another question here. What specific type of walking sticks do you recommend for urban hikes and or walks?
So actual devices can sometimes fall to physical therapists, or your primary care provider may be the one to suggest the specific kind. I know that our senior citizens enjoy the walking sticks that sort of look like ski sticks, because you can adjust the height of those to be appropriate for your body, and they can have a comfortable grip so that you can keep a good hold on them. But again, it kind of depends on your individual circumstances, any pertinent diagnoses that may affect how you move, how you walk. So, did you have any?
Sorry. These walkers, to my understanding, I shouldn't just go and find a walker. I should discuss it with a medical person or therapist about what type of walker is best for me, because some of these walkers are a hindrance instead of assisting. I could go pick a walker out and it could cause me to lose my balance. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a great point, and I'll just go over what you said so that everyone can hear. Audience member said, don't just go pick out any walker, because that could be a hindrance and it, you know, make you fall potentially. So talking to your healthcare provider about the specific device that you need, and also getting it fitted to you and your height, right? Because that's going to be different, and I'll let Kelsey and or Mary Pat add to that.
Thank you.
Yes, what I would say to that, and we have seen in my at my company too, is it's very tempting if a family member has one that they're not using anymore, and they say, well, just take my cane, just take my walker. And it seems like a money saver in the moment, but again, if it's not fitted, as Deidre said, if it's not fitted properly, or it's not the type of device you need, it can just cause you further issues. We have a lot of people who want the four-wheeled walkers because they have brakes and they have seats, and for some people, managing the brakes is just not feasible due to dementia or due to other balance issues. All those wheels and that ability to move quickly is not the safest option for them. and a front-wheeled walker with just the two kind of sticks on the back or the tennis balls and the wheels in front is the safest option for them because it's easier to control. And there are ways to put seats on those if that's a big thing for that person. I'll just put that out there.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and it also depends on the surface. So for a wheeled walker, it works just great on a flat surface or like a hardwood floor. When you have carpet, if you use the tennis balls on the back of the walker, they can wear out and you get these big rug marks, tar marks. So it's just really important to know the surface that you're going to be using the walker on and really getting it fitted to you. Yes.
Question. There used to be a program that would do an in-home assessment for a fall. Does that still exist?
The question was that someone is aware of a program that used to be in-home for an assessment, for a fall assessment.
They still have the One Step Ahead program for King County, if you live within King County, and they will have a free in-home assessment, and they also look at providing grab bars. And you can also call your local area agency on aging to see about a fall assessment, but definitely yes, One Step Ahead in King County. Thank you.
One last question here before we wrap up. Yes.
So I have United Healthcare, excuse me, and they do offer that for free once a year. So if you have United Healthcare, you can also get them to do it. They'll send somebody out.
An audience member said that they have United Healthcare and that he believes that they would do one for free. They would send someone out to your home. Yes.
I have Premier and they do the same thing.
Okay, and someone else mentioned that they have Primera and that they would do the same thing. Okay.
You have 2 minutes.
Mary Pat, I have a question for you. Let's go to medication quickly here. How does medication and medical conditions contribute to fall risk, and what strategies can help minimize that?
Thank you. It's really important to keep a medication list and a diagnosis list and knowing how the medications and diagnosis impact you. How many of you have ever seen on a medication label or told by a pharmacist, this might cause lightheadedness or dizziness? Okay, thank you so much, because I also take medications. But then there's a second medication you take, and it says causes dizziness or lightheadedness. And maybe a third medication, including some of the antihistamines over the counter you might take for a cough or a cold. So it's really knowing about the medications you're taking and those side effects. And as Paige mentioned in the presentation, getting up slowly if you're on a blood pressure medication so that if you stand up, your blood pressure isn't dropping and you get dizzy and you can fall. So really the medications like the antihistamines, medications to control blood pressure, a lot of these medications, including like a diuretic or a water pill you might take for your heart, they can cause you to get dehydrated and also to get lightheaded. So it's really important to pay attention to the medications. And I'll just briefly say, I am a fall injury survivor. I had a traumatic brain injury from a fall. It wasn't a stumble or a trip, it was a cardiac neuro thing. I did have a head injury, and initially they said nothing was wrong, but they did tests afterwards, and I had bleeding on both sides of my brain, and I had to have a craniotomy. And as a nurse, we always talk about scope and severity. You could have many falls and not have any injury, or you could have one fall and you could suffer a fracture. So it's really important not to be afraid to speak up. Speak up and talk to your healthcare provider. Ask that person to take you seriously. Thank you.
One last question here, or comment.
So a few weeks ago, a friend and I went to Lincoln Park, and we went down a path that had steps. They were very steep. I didn't want to go, but my friend says, yeah, we'll be fine. There's no handrails. So instead of going down a regular path to get to the water, we decided to take the shortcut. And without a railing, I actually had two people help me up because I could not get up. So I'm looking out for that all the time now.
That's good. Thank you for sharing. The brief story, person in the audience went to Lincoln Park and was going to go down steps and noticed that there was not handrails. So this person had other people help them get down the steps. So great job being aware of that. Okay, well, thank you all for joining us today.